Coming outside with a whole bunch of random stuff. Ugh. I'm gonna show you guys some fun stuff. There goes the robins, they're eating their worms. It's okay, we got plenty of worms. Well, howdy everybody. Hope everybody's doing good out there. This is Benj, the garden guy. I'm out here in my garden. As you can see, it's kind of looking a little more on the winter side. I got my collards here, Swiss chards a little bit more. It's waiting for springtime. Let's just say it that way. And then we've got our kale going on, and then the rest of the garden is just growing soil right now. I got all kinds of decaying, decomposing, organic material here that is just turning into good soil. It's awesome. Today we're talking about cardboard. I got some different types of cardboard here, just Amazon shipment type of cardboard. And we've got your juicy juice cardboard, or juice burst, something like that. Eggshell type of. And then your egg carton kind of cardboard. There's just 3 examples here. It is a cold December, oh wait a minute. It is a cold, today is a very chilly February 1st, almost said January, February. The pros and cons of cardboard. Yep, you heard me right, the pros and cons of cardboard. Me, I want to know the pros and the cons. I don't just want to know the pros. A lot of times we hear, oh, cardboard is awesome for no-till gardens, you can do this and this with it, it's super helpful, but I don't want to be biased in my decision-making process of what I'm going to put into my garden, because the reality is what we put into our gardens is what we're going to be putting into our bodies through the food that we grow. So we need to be careful what we put into our gardens. All that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it and talk about the pros and cons of using cardboard in your gardens. I grab my tripod, perfect tripod. So, pros. Pros are, from what I've experienced, cardboard is great for smothering weeds, for basically claiming territory. Here we have grass, all kinds of herbs, wild kinds of herbs and just like wild garlic and all kinds of stuff. What I did for this garden is, this is a no-till, no-dig garden, modeled basically off of 2 of the main teachers that I've learned from, Mr. Charles Dowding and Mr. Paul Gauchi. Those 2 guys are awesome. And they have explained just the benefits of not having to go in and till up your soil to grow a garden. You can actually grow a garden, an even better garden than you probably ever experienced, by not flipping those soil layers. But instead, what you do is you bring in organic matter and you build on top. So the first layer that I put down here, I'll put in some B-roll of that. But the first thing I did was I went down the whole garden and I layered it. It was like that over there, the green grass. Put down layers of cardboard like that, and I made sure to cover up all of the gaps. So that is how I started out this garden. Cardboard is made so that it is pretty strong. Like, it's not going to easily tear very much. Like, I have to kind of work to tear this. So therefore the weeds are not going to be able to pop through as easily. So it's a great way to claim territory for a no-till, no-dig type of scenario. If you really layer this stuff 2 to 3 layers thick, it can even smother out grass like Bermuda grass and other rhizome, stolen type grasses that really try to keep going even when you cover them up. So cardboard can be a nice way to just smother even those types of weeds out. But you do have to make it thick. 2 benefits to the soil are that you're going to be adding organic matter. So if you look at this stuff, I don't know if you can see this. See that? There's like gaps in between there, but it's still all cardboard. You're essentially getting this stuff in every bit of carbon from this pulp they use to make these. It's like from tree materials usually. That is going to be turning into nice organic carbon for your soil, which is going to mean you're going to have better water holding capacity. Your soil holds on to moisture better. One thing I like to do with my cardboard, and I did right here, is I had cardboard underneath everything, but then I put down wood chips on top of the cardboard. And those 2 combined, if you just put cardboard down, the wind and the sun's gonna dry out your cardboard real quick, and then the wind's gonna blow it all around. You just end up with a big mess. But if you put cardboard down first and then wood chips on top of that, they work together to create an environment where microbes and worms can be happy under there. So you're almost getting a bumper crop of worms. But more on that in a second in the cons section of this conversation. So essentially, cardboard can be a great way to smother weeds, increase soil moisture and organic carbon, and potentially even microbial life in the soil, including earthworms. That being said, let's get into the cons. First thing I'll say is watch out for cardboard like this that has like this slick surface. It's got a slick surface. I try to steer clear of cardboard that's got that kind of slick surface, because that means it has some kind of, usually means it has some kind of like synthetic, more petroleum, plastic type material on it, and I don't really want to add that to my garden. Now there's a whole bunch of debate as far as cardboard goes and the health concerns around it. It's held together with a glue that sometimes is made from cornstarch primarily, but sometimes it's, like I said, petroleum based or like more plastic based. So we don't really want to have those things added. Also, sometimes cardboard will have chemicals added to them to resist decay, to resist water, also to resist ants or any other types of animals coming in, or insects trying to eat it up. So that can be problematic. I will say that if you get your cardboard from like food storage places, I have read that is almost always, it has to be based off of code or the regulations. It has to be food safe, which means it has to be to where you can, you know, put your food on top of there and then eat from it and you're okay. So I try to stick with just your generic cardboard like this. But the problem with this is sometimes you do run into plastic tape like this. See that? Plastic tape, and that's just not going to break down. Also, another thing is sometimes the big thick cardboard has quite a few staples in it, which could be problematic for stepping on them. Also, they're just going to be in your garden. You don't want that. So watch out for staples and for plastic tape. Like when I did my garden here, I tried to take all of the plastic tape off of the cardboard before I put it down. Whew, it's getting cold. It's getting cold. One other con could be, and I'll show you here what I'm talking about. A lot of times when you have some type of surface covering organic material, little insects and all kinds of slugs and bugs are going to be underneath that. And that's natural. Like out in nature, that's just going to happen. Bugs like to be under shelter just like us. I mean, there's a house. I like to be under shelter, and bugs and slugs and things like that are going to find little nooks to where they can hang out. So if you do have that going on with your cardboard, sometimes it can be like this. Oh. See, I put some cardboard here just to put it in a place. But there you go. You're gonna see some worms. See all that? Yeah, we got some serious worms going on. Fat worms. Wow, that's a lot. It's pretty good, happy worms there. But yeah, you can kind of see soil life likes to hang out underneath this. And if I had slugs, oop, there's a slug right there actually, see that? That's a slug. Right in there, you can see him now, right there. Yeah, so there's slugs under here. So that means later on, when I have cardboard, there's gonna tend to be bugs underneath there. One remedy for that is that you can put your cardboard down, and then on top of that, put some type of permeable weed fabric. Then that's going to mean that, you know, those bugs don't get underneath there. So, as with anything with gardening and anything around your house, edibles, you need to make your own decisions as far as what you feel is safe. But as for me, I recommend, and I like to use cardboard as like the first pioneer type of material to help me claim land, to basically turn yard into garden. It's very helpful for suppressing those weeds and for being that first layer that you put down to start to kill off those grasses and weeds and whatever is already growing there in your garden. If you're going to do no-till, Also for pathways, it's wonderful for pathways to put down and put wood chips on, because it just suppresses them long enough to where they don't get enough light and they are killed off. There's pros and cons to all kinds of material that you can put into your garden. You know, manure, there's pros and cons to that. There's pros and cons to lots of stuff. And I might be doing more of these pros and cons videos just to give you guys a better understanding of two sides of the argument. We don't want to just be one-sided. There's arguments out there that cardboard is actually not even a good material to use for your gardens, because it creates an environment to where, because it's such a thick, you know, all covering surface, everything underneath there begins to have less and less oxygen and access to water. So it becomes almost an anaerobic surface. Like, I've heard the argument that if you use cardboard in your gardens as a very thick layer, that the reason you see worms on the top is not because there's more worms, but because it is potentially restricting the amount of oxygen in the soil, so that the worms come to the surface to get enough oxygen. So there's all kinds of arguments out there. I'm just walking around in this garden having a fun time talking to you guys. Y'all need to research it for yourself, but that's what I've discovered is if you take those staples out and you take those pieces of plastic out, then you can totally use cardboard as a pioneer, a first material to help you claim territory in your gardens. And after that first time, just start adding compost, basically. Compost is all I'm using now. Compost and wood chips. This guy over here, I don't know if y'all hear that, but that's kind of loud. I'm going to show you somebody over here. How's it going?
Huh?
How's it going?
Going great.
Some water there.
Got really thirsty today, so.
Yeah, poor guy. I'll make sure he drinks water outside. Just kidding. Gus, look at him. The myth, the legend. Whoa. I really jumped.
I have the power.
I got like 20 seconds left on this.
What do you say?
Whoa. Stop it. Stop it.
I can't hear you, bro.
Stop it. Josh, seriously.
Yeah, take that.
Hey, tell me something new.
Something new.
You got 20 seconds.
Something new.
Bye, Josh. Have a good day.
Bye.
Cardboard. Good times. Good stuff. Same thing goes for like the egg crates and stuff. Cardboard. If you shred your cardboard, it will make it decompose a lot faster, because all those little pieces have gaps in between them and you'll have more airflow. So it just makes it a little faster. Y'all, I hope this was helpful for you. Pros and cons of using cardboard. There are definite pros and there are definite cons. And some of those cons you can avoid by just removing some of the materials. But beyond that, y'all will decide for yourself. I like using cardboard as my first material. Thanks for watching. Good time. See you next time on the Garden Guy channel.